It only takes a second. Okay, we're ready to start. Okay, good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. We'll give it another 1 or 2 minutes for people to join the webinar, and then we'll start. But we're very excited. And happy that everyone are able to join. If you just join us, welcome. You can shout out your name and location in our chat so we can see where everyone are from. We'll give it another minute or two until people will be able to join. So if you can locate the chat and put your name and location, or just the location, it's also fine. So we can see where people are from. That's awesome. Yeah, we have people from Utah, I see, from Texas, San Francisco, Palm Spring, see Manhattan. Wow. Okay, so many places. Yeah, we have a great topic today, this morning. I think everything related to video and photos and how to transfer from your photos to a video is great. Another source to tell the story. If you just join us, welcome. We'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll kick it off. If you join us, you can put in the chat where you're from. You can shout it out. People from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Manchester, England. We have Dublin from Ireland, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, all over. I love this. Awesome. We'll give it another say 30 seconds, and then we'll start. Yeah, wow, we have a lot of people today. Awesome. Love it. Okay, everyone who's here, you don't need to wait anymore. We can definitely start. So hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Miki Atir. I'm the CMO for Photomine. We're so happy to see you today. We've been doing these webinars over the last 6 months, and from each topic, we're getting so much knowledge, and it's just amazing. So thank you for attending, and thank you for the photo managers that help us to organize that. I'm really excited about today because I love photos, but I even better like videos, and I like to have a connection between the photos and videos. So it's definitely very intrigued for myself, to take part in this webinar. I want to start by saying that a few weeks ago, we had the chance to connect with dozens of photo managers at the Photo Managers Conference in San Diego. It was an amazing experience for us. And we got a real hand to see the passion and the creativity and the community that it remains us, just how powerful memory keeping can be. And I will let Mary to introduce their virtual conference that is happening in the end of the month in about a minute or two. But today I'm so thrilled to introduce today's guest speaker, Jennifer from Living Joy Photo. Jennifer is a storyteller at heart, and she's helped countless families transform piles of photos and videos into beautiful keepsakes that truly celebrate life's memories. So I'll let Jennifer to introduce herself in a second. Before that, by the end of the webinar, you'll have a clear plan and the confidence to start your own video project, one that your family will treasure for years. But before we dive in, just a few quick announcements, and then I'll hand it over to Mary to introduce the Photo Managers virtual conference. So first, we are recording this webinar. So if you need to leave early or something happens, we will have a link that will be sent by an email to view it on YouTube. So that's very easy. We also are running a special Amazon sale with a 35% off our best sellers, including our phone mount and shooting tent and a clicker. Everything you need to scan and capture your memories with Photomine. We'd love to hear you. So if you have any questions from like for Jennifer or for PhotoMine or for Mary in the photo managers, so you can drop it off in the like in the chat or in the Q&A sections. We will try to answer during the webinar, but we will also create like a document that Jennifer can answer after she finishes the presentations. And also I invite you to browse on our like YouTube channels and view our past webinars and other content. So with that, I'll give Mary like the shout out to introduce like the virtual conference of the photo managers, and then we'll hand it over to Jennifer. So Mary.
Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate it. Yeah, we had a great time having Mickey at our conference in San Diego. We got to learn a lot more about PhotoMine, and I enjoyed meeting you in person. But if you've ever been curious about organizing your photos, which I'm sure you are because you're already here and interested in PhotoMine and using the app, then we're actually having a virtual conference May 29th and 30th. And it's a really great way if you've ever felt overwhelmed by your photos or you want to learn more about professional photo organizing. It's a great way to get started doing that. We have some really awesome sessions taught by some of our professionals who do this as a career. They organize, preserve, and tell stories with their photos. And they help families and businesses every single day preserve their memories. We have some really awesome breakout sessions where you'll learn how to price your services, discover the best tools and workflows of doing those things, and even how to scale to increase your income if you decide you want to turn that into a business. I'll put something in the link in just a second, but we have a really cool snapshot pass that gives you 1 week access. You get access to 5 breakout sessions, peer networking, and you'll also have the opportunity to meet some of our vendors like PhotoMine live, and some are pre-recorded, but it's a really great way to kind of get a sneak peek into photo organization. And I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat.
Very interesting, and a lot of tools and knowledge about like organizing and how to become a photo manager if anyone is interested. So definitely like Mary will put it in the chat, and then that's all for us. We're handing it like to Jennifer. Thank you again, and yep, excited.
All right, thank you. I'm excited. This is going to be fun, so let's get started. Okay. All right. So I am a certified professional photo organizer, and I have been running my business since 2021. And the mission of my business is to help people enjoy their photos and their videos, help them be able to create those meaningful projects with them, help them be able to share their story with their family and friends, because I feel like everybody has a story to tell and everybody should be able to tell that story. So that's really what I love doing about my business, is helping people enjoy their pictures and share their story. Now, part of the reason why that is such a passion of mine is my education background is actually in speech pathology. And I've spent the better part of 2 decades helping stroke and brain injured patients. And I've seen firsthand what happens when that ability to communicate is lost or becomes difficult. And I think, again, like I said, everybody has a story to tell, and I want to help everybody tell that story. So photos and videos are a great way that we can tell our story. And so today I'm excited that we're going to talk about videos and how we can use that to tell our story. Okay, so as I was thinking about this presentation, something that came to my mind was the scene pictured here in the movie Christmas Vacation, where the main character Clark gets trapped up in the attic. And what did the producers and writers of that movie come up with for him to spend his time do while he was up in the attic? They didn't have him building with Legos. They didn't have him reading a book or even taking a nap. They had him find old home movies and he sat and he watched those movies. And think about what that scene does kind of to the movie. It provides emotion. It provides emotion to the character. He becomes tearful, reliving all those memories, those past holidays, and thinking about trying to create them for the current holiday. And so you really think about what video can do to tell your story, how it can add to your project. It adds an element of emotion, it adds an element of movement and audio. And all those things together just help you tell more of a complete story that pictures sometimes don't always get. So I like video as it can show a progression. It can show a progression from a toddler just learning to walk to that teenager going off to prom to that adult getting married. It shows the progression of their movement, of their voice, of the family around them. And so that's one thing that video can do. In addition, video can connect generations. And so you can introduce a younger generation to maybe family members who have passed away, and you can connect them and introduce them in more a way, again, hearing their voice and watching their movement more than just a picture on a piece of paper. In addition, who doesn't love watching movies and videos? And so, who doesn't love curling up on the couch or in the movie theater with some popcorn? So, your videos can do the same thing for you. It can provide entertainment and, again, not only connecting a younger generation to an older generation, but also building memories in the meantime. Building memories of watching those home movies and watching those movies that you've put together. So there's lots of wonderful reasons why you might want to choose video for your project. So I came up with some ideas for you of when you might want to use video. And I have a list here that you can read. And basically, I came up with kind of two types of events. You're going to have an event where it's just one event, like a holiday, like a vacation, like a graduation or an event, or you're going to have something over a period of time. So maybe an event would be maybe a child's first birthday. But then over a period of time, maybe you would do from birth to that first birthday. Or if you think about a graduation, maybe you could do a video from kindergarten through high school graduation. So you span a period of time, and that's really when you can show the growth. So you have a specific event like a vacation or a birthday, or you have something where you're documenting over a period of time. Some other examples is maybe a season of your life. Maybe you've lived in a house for a period of time and you want to document your time in that house before you move. Um, you could take an event like a holiday and document that over the years to again show the change and the progression. So there's lots of ideas, lots of um, situations where a video can just add that extra element of entertainment and enjoyment. All right. So when I am talking about video, I have two different types of video that I kind of consider and think about. One type would be your slideshow, where you are taking your still pictures and you're piecing them together to make a video. And I think of times where you might want to use this is maybe when you want something that's not the center of attention, but kind of in the background. A celebration of life that might be playing through an, a party or a funeral or something like that. A graduation where it's playing at a party, but it's just one of the decorations. And so I have an example here of that type of video a slideshow. So that shows the still pictures, but it adds a video and a title frame to kind of put it all together. So then another type of video that I kind of think of is more of your home movie where you have video clips and sometimes pictures and you put it together to tell a story. And they could still be something that documents over a period of time or a specific event. The example I have here is one of a vacation, so it's more of a specific event. So here's that example.
In my favorite tree, well, I'm burning steady.
All right, so that gives you an example of that type of video where you have, like I said, some video, some pictures, you put it together and it helps tell a story. Something like that has more of kind of like a beginning, middle, and end versus a slideshow is just kind of flipping through pictures. Okay, so whenever I'm talking about or thinking about making a creative project, I always encourage the first step is to coming up with a plan. If you have a clear idea of answering some of these questions posted here, then that'll help guide your decisions moving forward. So some things to think about when you are building your video is who is your audience? What is the purpose? Where will you be showing it? And how long should it be? Now, some of these I was kind of thinking about like the who is your audience and how long it should be and it all kind of ties together. If you are doing something that, like I said, is kind of more in the background, then it's okay to have it kind of a longer video because you're not expecting people to sit through the whole thing. But if you are trying to entertain something where people are going to sit down, think about how long their attention span is going to be. If you are putting a video together for a kindergarten classroom, they are going to have a different attention span than if you're putting a video together for a celebration of life or a family. So you want to think about who are you trying to entertain and what is the purpose? Is it the center of attention or is it in the background? Where are you going to be showing it? Is it going to be just something that you're going to be watching in your own home? Is it going to be showing up on a bigger screen? The technology behind it. So, where are you planning on showing it? And then, like I said, how long? Think about people's attention span. Are they going to want to sit down and watch 30 minutes of your vacation? You might enjoy that. And if the purpose is for your enjoyment, then do it. But if you're looking to share it with other people, you might think that you might want to cut it down a little bit. So, as I said, thinking about some of these questions before you start your project will help guide you as you are going through your project. All right. So we have talked about why we're doing video and talked about some of the plan to before you even start. But now we're actually going to start building our video. And for this presentation, I really wanted to start with showing you that you can keep it really simple, but then you can add some layers to make it a little bit more polished, a little bit more complex if you want to, but you do not have to start out difficult. You can really keep it simple. So my first suggestion is to use what you have. Where are your photos stored? And does that program have some sort of video feature already embedded into it? Now, Amazon Photos, Google Photos, and Apple Photos all have some sort of innate feature that will pull your pictures together, make a video for you, and you're done. They usually have some sort of basic editing, but you really don't have to do a lot, and then you have your video. So if you're looking to put something together, but don't want to deal with technology at all, that would be a really easy way to start. Now, I also included on here an app, 1 Second Every Day. There are probably other similar apps similar to it, but I'm familiar with this one. And basically, you have that on your phone, and you can just add little clips, videos, and pictures into it, and then it just makes the video for you. So again, it's just a simple way the program does the work for you, and you're all done. However, if you want a little bit more control and a little bit more ability for some creativity and flexibility, we're going to be designing our own video. So the programs that you have available to you or that you can use, if you're a Mac user, then iMovie would be easy for you because it's already on your computer. And it's a fairly straightforward, none of these are super, super simple, but they are, with a little work, you can figure it out. So iMovie, I would say, would probably be the most user-friendly. But if you do not have a Mac, if you do not have a Mac, you definitely have some options. I use Wondershare Filmora. I work mostly on a PC, and so I found that to have everything that I need. There is a learning curve. My daughter is a film production major, so I will ask her sometimes, or I will go onto YouTube. But I've been able to figure things out, and it does everything that I need. Movavi is another program that can be for PC or Mac. I'm not familiar with it, but I do know that there are other photo managers who use that program. So iMovie is easy because it's already on your Mac. Wondershare Filmora is definitely another option too. So my tips for putting your video together. You have the program, you've come up with a plan, and now you're starting to do the work. My suggestion would be to start with a copy of all the photos and videos that you want to use and put them into a new folder, and that would become your working folder so that you're not messing with anything in your original photo library. You've copied them and you have them linked to that specific working folder, and that is where your program will link to it, will access those photos from that folder. So when you are done with your project and everything is completed, then you can just delete that folder and you're not worried about moving the pictures anywhere. Your library is still intact. So I do strongly encourage you making a copy, making a new folder, and that becomes your working folder. Once you've done that, then I would kind of get a general idea of the organization that you want for your video. This is definitely not something that needs to be set in stone, but if you have a general idea and can put them in a kind of a general order, it will save you some time later on. So if you're able to move them into the order that you want and then rename those photos and videos in a sequential order, that way when you load them into your program, they'll load in that sequential order. And once you've gotten them in the program, then you can kind of move around those individual photo clips or those video clips if you need to. but you've kind of already done the work. So once you put it in, it should be pretty close to how you want it. Then you have your video, and that is a simple way to put the video together. However, if you want to add a little bit more extra elements to your video, I have a few other suggestions that really will add a little bit more of a professional touch to your video and will add just, I think, a little bit more enjoyment to watching the videos. I like to add a title frame. And if you notice on both of those video clips that I showed earlier, there was some sort of title frame on there that gave you some sort of idea of what you were going to be looking at. And I think that is just helpful for your audience to have an idea of what is the purpose, why are we looking at this video, what are we going to be watching. So adding your title frame. And then if you want to add music or audio clips, this is where you would add them in. The way the video programs are worked, you have different tracks and they all kind of layer on top of each other. So you have your video track, which would have your pictures and your videos. And then you have your audio track, and you can adjust your pictures and videos to that audio. So to make a more professional feel, I try to look at the beat of the music and try to time the switching of the pictures or the videos kind of to that beat of the music. You can also add audio clips in here. So if you happen to have the voice of somebody, you can add that in here and add it into your project. The first video that I showed you of the slideshow was actually what I put together when my father passed away. And I had several years before that, I had the idea to record him telling some of his stories. He was a storyteller and told many stories. So I recorded him telling his stories, so I had them in his voice. And so later on in the slideshow, I actually cut out the music and added him telling his stories. So it was another element to that and a way to document his voice, even though he had passed away. So you can add your music, add your audio clips at this point, and then you can kind of adjust your pictures and your videos to kind of go along with that. And then if you want to, you can add some transitions. So you can fade in, fade out between the pictures and videos. You can get more fancy if your program has some different types of transitions. But honestly, I think the music and the pictures tell the story. And so I don't go very fancy on the transitions. And that pretty much is you building your video. Now, I will share one other piece of advice. I have found in at least working through Wondershare Filmora, and I think most video programs work this way. They are referencing where your videos are stored, and that being in that working folder that you created. But they're not in the video program. So I have, because I kind of clean out sometimes, I have deleted or moved those pictures and video clips. And then when I go to work on the video in the program, it can't find them, and you need to relink it together. So you want to make sure that you have that working folder and that you keep it there and don't move it or don't change it until you're done with your project. And once your project is completed and exported, then you won't need those anymore, and then you can get rid of them. But I have learned the hard way on that one. So my last little, well, not last little, we have a few more to go, but some other considerations to think about during your project is the timing. I talked a little bit about the length of the whole video itself, but I'm talking about the timing of each picture frame or each video clip. If you have it moving too fast, then your audience is not going to be able to process what they're looking at. And if it's going too slow, you're going to lose the attention of your audience. So I like to keep each frame at about 3 to 5 seconds. I feel like that gives you enough time to kind of look at the picture, but also helps keep the story moving and keeps telling the story. You're going to want to save in an MP4 file format. That is the most current. When it comes to music, if you want to use your personal music, that is your decision, but I always use licensed music. I do pay for my music. I like to give the artist their money and just their credit. So you can often find licensed music on your video editing program. Or if you want to look for other music, I have some suggestions here. I use audio. I like that. I feel like it's appropriately priced and it gives me the variety of music that I'm kind of looking for. So that's one I like, but there are some other options out there too. All right, so now you have made your video. So now we need to enjoy it. So how are we going to be able to watch this video? So I have some different options here. You can screen mirror from your phone to your TV. You can upload your videos to YouTube or Vimeo. You can use Apple TV. I have done all of those, but currently I like the program called Projector. And what that is I have an account, which is shown, you can see my TV down here. I have an account where I can load up all my videos. And then on your smart TV, you can add their app. And so then once you go into the app, you have the thumbnails of all your videos. And you can just pick which video you want to watch and you can sit there and watch it. And it makes it really easy to just click and watch, and it makes it a lot of fun. So that's a really easy way to enjoy and be able to watch your videos without a lot of work into it. Okay, so I think that was all that I had. So definitely if there are any questions or if, yeah, I think I'm done.
That was great. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Very
Yes, a fun
interesting
topic.
and very easy like to manage. Like my 2 cents on that, I would say that like as a past video editor in my past, I think the hardest part is to organize the photos that you wish to include in the video and try to sort them out. It's the longest process, but it's the most important thing. I think also now with all the AI stuff, there's probably a lot of shortcuts that people can do. And also maybe like the AI can help in the sense of trying to create like a draft or a script or anything that can help you in the process. So definitely like a lot of like software and even ChatGPT that can help in the like first process and the first step of like starting this process. And I think like another thing that I used to like work on videos like that it takes time. It's not just a 1 hour project that you can start and finish. It's a very emotional one if you do it for yourself or for other people. So it takes time, it takes a lot of, like fine tuning for that. Yeah, but very interesting. And I think like with the photos at PhotoMind, we give a lot of options for people to like to export like all the photos like in a bulk to like to the Google Photos or like to save to the camera roll or to view them online. And from there, the photos are easy to manage and download to your computer and then like forward it. So if you have PhotoMind, you can export the photos like via the portal to your hard drive. And then if you have a Mac, you can, easily import those to iMovies and start creating. There's a lot of templates there that can help you do that. Yeah, so definitely my last tip for that would say as a past video editor would be that try to create a draft without even thinking a lot, just something that you can play with. And then it's easier to like move around things. I think the hardest part is to put the first slide or photo in the timeline and start the project. That's the hardest part, like from my experience. But
Well, and that's where I think like having your plan, like you're really thinking it out before you even dig into the pictures, into the video. And that kind of helps get you started too. So yeah.
100%. Yeah, so I think we have a document with a few questions that we gathered.
Yes. Do you want me to just call them off for you, Jennifer?
I
Or you can feel
guess.
free to answer them.
Let's see. Um, let's see, I guess, because I'm seeing some questions.
Okay. The first question is, can I add commentary to a still picture slideshow?
Yes. So you can add audio clips. So you can definitely add, what do I want to say? Most programs would have a ability to add some audio, so that you can add that. So yes.
The next question we had was referring to what was the second type of video that you mentioned in the slideshow?
Just it was like I labeled it home movies. So like a slideshow would be your pictures, just kind of flipping through, but more of like a home movie that would incorporate video and pictures. Um, so that was what I labeled it as.
And then what are your recommendations for PC configuration? They were asking if the entry-level PC sold at big box stores would be adequate for this.
So I really can't off the top of my head answer that question, except you do have to put into consideration your video card and your memory. But off the top of my head, I can't give you specifics. But that would be something to maybe either research or to ask when you're buying, because probably your lowest level probably would not be the best. You definitely need to consider that video card in your RAM storage, whatever that is.
I think it's really depending on the amount of profession that you want to put in the videos. So if you work with like a Premiere or anything like related to that, it needs like a very high quality computers. But there's a lot of software that are online and working with the web are very easy to create slideshows with. Even apps that do that, and you can, create a slideshow on an app on your phone and then it to your computer. So it could be something that you start small, and then if you go into it in terms of like becoming more professional in a way, so you can upgrade your equipment. Yeah, but definitely I think every Mac can handle a Premiere, like for sure, an iMovie for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And that's too why I tried to start out like it can be very simple of, just what, your Apple Photos or Google Photos can kind of make the video for you. So it can start out simple and then kind of go from there. So yeah.
Another question we had was where do you find background music for free or low cost?
So again, it may be in your program. Your editing program might have some audio in it that would just be part of the program. So that would be the easy way to do it. I know that the Apple Photos, Google Photos, like when they make their videos, the memories or creation or whatever it is, they will include music for the background. Other than that, I had like I said, I use audio, but there are some other ones too that you can go and look and see.
And also
I
like
know.
free trials and sometimes that you can, like keep a daily routine of like downloads of songs that you can download every day. I think Artlist has, I think, like a free version that you can download a few songs every day. But they're very not expensive in their trial and then in their premium account for self-use.
I was going to say for me personally, I know this is like low scale, but I use Canva and Descript, and they both have free music. I just used free music off of Descript yesterday for a video editing for a Facebook ad. So yeah, so they actually, a lot of those programs provide it.
And I think more and more are starting to do that, providing something. So yeah.
Another question we had was, how do you keep the video file size reasonable when you have dozens of photos in one file?
Um, you just need, I'm not really sure how to answer that. You have your, actually, I'm not really sure.
I was going to say, if your file size is really big, sometimes you can compress the file. There's free conversion apps that you can use where you can compress the file size. I don't know if that's what you would typically do for this situation, but I know that that is one big thing that you could do to make it smaller.
And I guess the other thing that I think about is like, as you're putting the video together, you're going to be clipping those videos. So if you have, 5 videos that are long, most likely your video is not going to have everything in all 5 of those videos. So you're going to kind of clip it down anyway, as you're working through it.
What about the naming system? How do you typically name your files, photos, videos, and how do you start?
So if you are using a copy and you're just renaming them, I would just do a sequential order. But if you're asking about naming them in your library, like to save, then I like to include the year and month, if possible, and a little description, if possible. So most of my photos are year, month, and then maybe the holiday or maybe the event or something like that. But if it's just, like I said, if it's just the copy for this making the video, then you really don't need to name it much. I just do a sequential order.
What about the, do you use an external hard drive to avoid memory issues?
I do use an external hard drive. That's where all my photos are stored. And then if I am doing a project, I will move the pictures and videos that I'm using to my computer and work from it from there. But I don't keep my pictures and videos on my desktop. I keep them on an external hard drive to help save space.
And I think we have one last question. They were just wondering what software you use to create the video on this presentation.
Mhm.
So I use Wondershare Filmora for my videos, but I built the presentation in Canva. That's what they're asking.
Awesome. Yeah, we will send all the materials and links and everything that we mentioned like during the webinar in our email, like post webinar. The email was recorded, so definitely we'll post a link to our YouTube channels that you can view there. Yeah, and any other links that were here on the chat will be there. Yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Great topic, and thank you, Mary. And if people are interested in the virtual conference of the photo managers, we highly suggest that you dig into it and see if it's for you. Yeah, we will meet on our next webinar in June. Thank you so much and have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you.